Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the film Outcasts. And this was a very small film that came out this year, probably mostly on VOD. I watched it on Netflix. Get Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon mixed up a little bit, but this was on Netflix, and it's a small little teenage movie that you could definitely feel like is in the vein of Mean Girls, references Tina Fey, for that matter. So it's a little like meta on that, like, this is like Mean Girls. And it's not Mean Girls. Movie's fine. This review is probably not going to be a whole lot longer than right now. Blah, blah, blah. There's not a whole lot of depth to talk about. This is directed by Peter Hutchings, and it's about two young women who are outcasts, who rally a bunch of other outcasts to like overthrow the queen bee of this school. And there's so many characters, and I felt like there's some struggle trying to balance all these characters going on in this film and all the different storylines and everything supposed to be going on in this film. And pacing wise, it really didn't slow up. It didn't feel like I was bored at all watching this film. It had a nice pace to it. Tonally, it's a pretty light film. It doesn't get super heavy, even though it tries to get emotional in moments. It's very light and fluffy kind of film, and it really doesn't deal with super emotional. And from a tonal perspective, it's just a goofy teenager movie. And the cinematography done by John Thomas, this honestly feels like a TV show. There's nothing really special, and not talking about this new wave of really impressive TV shows that are very cinematic. This feels like it probably could have been on a Nickelodeon movie. To be perfectly honest, it probably could have been, and it probably wouldn't have lost anything. Probably would have watched this on Freeform or CW. That's kind of what this movie feels like. And the cinematography wasn't anything special. Dominique Ferreri and Suzanne Roltel. I'm sorry if I screwed them up. I wrote those names really small on my notes, and I apologize. But the writing in this, it's the story is all over the place. It has some interesting moments, but it's a bunch of a collection of those teenage cliches and stuff like that, and teenage movies, and just stereotypes that teenagers have. The characters, some of them are endearing. Our two main characters, you do get enough of them where you like them, and sometimes they make decisions that are just keep going down this road. And some of the characters don't get a whole lot of depth. They're very stereotypical. They have, this is your trait, this is who you are kind of thing. There are stereotypes, there are archetypes in this film. The dialogue, some of it could be funny. I think the best part of this film is the chemistry and the charisma that are brought by the two young women who star in this film, who really show that awkwardness that they're supposed to be as teenage girls, goofy, nerdy teenage girls. And I felt like that was delivered well, and they did a nice job with that. And that was the main thing that really stood out from this film. Spencer David Hutchings, who I'm assuming is probably related to the director, maybe, is the composer of this film. Music, it's songs you'd expect to get picked in a teenage movie. And I feel like this is a very generic sounding review for a very generic film. And that's basically what this is getting at. Victoria Justice and Eden Sher, who's from The Middle, which I used to watch, they were both good. They did a nice job, and I think that they brought enough chemistry together and charisma to the stage to really play out these characters, and you felt for them a little bit. And then Avon Jogia plays potential love interest for Victoria Justice's character, and I thought he had enough charisma to be interesting in this film, and he didn't feel as much as just goofy stereotype in amongst a bunch of goofy stereotypes. This looks like a TV show, pretty forgettable and cliched, yet slightly endearing and charming in some ways, and I'm going to give the Outcasts a C-.